Hey guys, so for this week's video, I have another author spotlight kind of video. And the author that I'm going to be focusing on for this video is going to be Anne Perry. She is one of my favorite authors. So just wanted to talk to you guys about her, and if you've never heard of her, then maybe you would be interested in reading some of her books after this video. A little bit about her. Like I mentioned, she is a author. She's English. I guess one of the most interesting things that she's known for is that she is a convicted murderer, I guess you could say. When she was 15 years old, she helped her friend kill her friend's mom, and they were both sentenced to jail, and they were both found guilty and served their time, and she was let out. And that all happened in New Zealand. And yeah, I think that's an interesting fact, because I didn't know this when I was reading her books until some years later when I found that out, and I was kind of shocked, especially since she writes like mystery books, you know, they're detective fiction and they deal with a lot of deaths and investigating how things happen. So I don't know, that's an interesting fact. There's also a movie based on the case, which is Heavenly Creatures. If you're interested or ever seen that movie, then if you've ever seen that movie, then that is about her and her friend killing the friend's mom. And yeah, so if you want to know more about that, you can like Google it or whatever. But I just thought that was an interesting fact, because not every day that you get an author that has such a crazy backstory. So the first book series I'm going to talk about is the Thomas Pitt series that she writes. And that is my absolute favorite series of hers. I love it so much. I am obsessed with her main characters. So the Thomas Pitt novels are set in Victorian England, London specifically, and Thomas Pitt is the main protagonist. He's a police detective who works for the Scotland Yard, I believe, and he's investigating, you know, obviously crimes that are happening. You end up getting to, so each book is based on like different crimes. Some of them are murder, some of them are theft. It just depends on the book. And he ends up meeting a woman, Charlotte, who ends up becoming his wife later on. And they end up having kids. And his wife is from a well-off family, an upper-class family, whereas he's from a working class. And his wife, Charlotte, actually ends up helping him a lot when it comes to figuring out like his cases, because she uses her connections in, you know, the aristocrats and the gentry. So they make like a great team. And the Thomas Pitt novels so far have 28 novels, a lot of novels. So I would suggest, if you haven't given it a try, to give it a read, because it's amazing. It's murder mystery, then you have like, you know, relationship stuff. Like, it's such a good, like, oh my god, I love that series. It's so good. The next book series that she's written, I said that right? I said that weird. Yeah, the next book series that she's written is the William Monk series, William Monk novels, and they have 19 novels to date. That series is based on, the main character's name is William Monk. He's a police officer who got to be a police officer by working his way to the top and stepping on people, and he's a very, I don't know how to describe him. He's a very like, what would be the word to describe him? He's a very direct person with some habits, some OCD habits. And he ends up eventually getting fired from the police department because he just doesn't care. And then he ends up becoming an investigator, so that's why he's investigator William Monk. And there's a show that's, I guess, loosely based on the series, which is called Monk. I don't think they give it anymore, but they used to on, I think, USA. I think the USA Network had the show, and it's also kind of like based on him. He's an inspector, and he's very OCD, he's a germaphobe and all that stuff, but the book version of him is a bit different. She also has other series like the World War I series, which has 5 novels, and it's also another detective fiction book that deals with like government secrets and spying and all that stuff. Then she also has the Christmas stories, and then she has just several novels for teen readers and just horror books and just a lot of different other kinds of books. So she has other types of books that aren't just specifically detective fiction, but most of her books are. So if you're into that, if you're into like murder mysteries, I would say give her a try. Give her books a read because they're really good, and I think probably her series is what got me hooked. And I think her series is what got me obsessed with like Victorian England. Alright, so I'm going to leave this off here. I didn't want to make it too long and rambly because I know my last author one was really long and rambly. Yeah, hopefully this one's shorter. So that is all I have for you guys. I will list below in the down bar the books that I've mentioned, the website you can find her in, all the places you can find everything I mentioned, as well as where you can find me, my social media links and all that stuff. And I'll also link below the author, I will also link below the other author spotlight that I did, which was LJ Smith. So if you haven't seen that, then you can click below and you can watch that. And I will see you guys next week with a new video. And that's it. Bye.